Hey guys, so today I thought I would film my second GCSE photography coursework book. If you haven't seen my first book, then I did a video on it a few weeks ago, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave it down below. This book is actually my favourite one. I say this is my best one, but yeah, just if you want a bit more information on like what else I did in my coursework, then definitely go watch that last video. It seemed really popular, everyone seemed to find it quite helpful, so I thought I would do the second one as well. And then I've also got my actual exam book, which I'll probably do in a few weeks time if you want. So if you want that, comment down below. And yeah, this is definitely my favourite book, so let's go. Oh my god, wow. This is my to-do list of what I still had to do probably like by the end of the year. Okay, so the first project we did in this book was architecture, and this was by far my favourite one. I just loved it. I think this is kind of the photography that I still really enjoy now. And yeah, so that was the first one we did. We went out on a school trip to my town and just took loads of pictures of like different buildings, doorways, just like everything like that. Yeah, to be fair, didn't really like that photo shoot because I just don't really like the buildings in my town, but I did take a lot, so it was kind of useful. The first artist I looked at was Anastasia Savanova, don't really know how you say her name, and she did these really cool photos where she basically collaged everything together from loads of different buildings that she's taken photos of and made something that looked like an actual house out of all of them. So I actually loved that. She was one of the artists I picked. If you want to pause and read it, I say where I like her pictures and what my plan was here. So I said I want to use images of doors, windows and roofs and manually edit them. So that means like literally cutting and sticking them together to basically recreate that. I also looked at the artist Abigail Reynolds, who basically, I mean, I don't really know how to describe this, but she took an old picture in black and white, put that underneath and then stuck a new one on top, or what the place looked like now, and then she cut into it and then like folded it back so you could kind of see half and half of each pictures. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I actually really like the outcomes that I did from these ones, and yeah, I really like that. Again, that was manual editing. I think all these at first focused on manual editing, and then we looked at David Hockney, and he basically just took loads and loads of pictures of one place but really close up, so like don't really know how to describe that, but yeah, I also really like these, and if you want to pause and read the information, then you can do. Okay, so yeah, the way I actually set out this book wasn't very good because I kind of set it out all in the wrong order. But the first artist I tried was David Hockney, and I literally did this in about 5 minutes, this photo shoot, because I just did it around school. Really don't like how this turned out, but I just wanted to try and see how I actually did the editing rather than actually make a good picture. And I think I just like had time to kill or something in one of the lessons, so I decided to do that. Just took basically loads of pictures of one section of the building, which I think was like this bit, and then stuck them all together so that they looked like a mismatched version of that building. Didn't really like that, but it was just a way to kind of see how to do the editing. And then I did an Anastasia Savanova test collage kind of from the photos that I took on the school trip in town. This kind of turned out alright, like the shape of it is alright, but it just kind of looks rubbish compared to hers. I think I just didn't take enough pictures to actually make that successful, because I needed loads of specific places and like specific windows and stuff to make it actually good. Okay, and then I really love this photo shoot. I went into Manchester. I did this on my own, like we didn't do this for school, but I just needed more pictures for this, so I went into Manchester and did a massive photo shoot. This is literally like 5 pages long, and this is basically what I think actually got me a good grade for this book, because if I hadn't done that Manchester photo shoot, I would have just had the photos that I had from before and they were just all rubbish. So I'm really glad I did this. Definitely one of the best decisions I made. A tip, I definitely say, if you have the chance, like if you have your own camera, or maybe ask if your school could loan you a camera over the weekend or something, if you want to do like an extra photo shoot, then go out and do that. And even if you just do it like on your phone, you'll still be able to use them, like it's still good quality. It definitely got me a better grade by doing this photo shoot. So then I tried the David Hockney collages again, which actually turned out so much better. I kind of love these photos. This one doesn't look that different from the original building. I stuck a picture of like the original building down here, but all these are actually like individual parts of the building, and I did this by literally just going like across the whole building until I got all these. But yeah, I think that looks really cool. And then this one's my favourite because it just looks a bit more disjointed. I think I said that in here. But this was like a pink building, but I just kind of like how it's not as perfectly put together as that, because obviously that's the original building and all the windows and everything overlap a bit more in that, so I like that one better. Oh, this is my favourite page ever. I actually love this so much. I tried the Anastasia 7 over inspiration again using my Manchester photo shoots. I didn't do it manually, I did it on Photoshop instead just because I thought it would be easier. And I laid this out by basically saying what I did for each step on Photoshop. So I said I started off by collecting loads of the images of windows and doors and putting them together first, just in like a square or rectangle shape, and then I got all the pictures separately of rooftops and put them together, and then I basically stuck that on top of that, and then that was that picture. And then I tried to get loads of different like signs and street signs and stuff and put them around this, but I mean some of them look good. Like I like the Church Street bit and I like the Printworks bit, but on the other ones you couldn't really see it, so I said it was kind of successful but kind of not, just because I preferred this original. So that's the one that I printed out big. I would literally like get that framed and put it in my house because I actually really like that, just because the buildings are so much more interesting than the other one. And yeah, I just think that's actually really cool. Okay, and then I tried a kind of old versus new theme because I wanted to explore more with the Abigail Reynolds, I think that was the artist. So I used the pictures from Manchester and chose some that looked modern. So this one and this one were like more glass, and then this one was just a bit more of an old building, and then this one I thought it was kind of like old and new mixed together because it was the new signing, like Illumina signs, but quite an old building. So I explained that there. And then I went back to, just on my practice one, I went back to one of the pictures that I took from the very first photo shoot. I basically this was a really bad attempt. I tried to do what she did, but I didn't actually understand how she did it at first. So I ended up just cutting triangles in it and then sticking that over the top of an original one. That I just changed to black and white, but it didn't turn out that well because I realised there was a better way to do it, which I did here. So I took that picture there, and I kind of forgot how I did this. Oh yeah, I printed them double-sided, I think. Pretty sure I printed them double-sided or just stuck them on top of each other back to back, and then I put that one underneath again. So basically, I've really explained this badly because I kind of can't remember how I did it, but basically I cut triangles out, but not the full way, because then I could fold it over so you could see the picture behind but also the picture underneath. I did loads more of these ones, which I love. I love that one so much. I think that's really good because just of the colours of the signs and stuff, I think that worked really well. The first one I did was the same again but just bigger because I wanted to explore more with that and just do kind of different shapes and stuff. And then this one, okay, I have a backstory about this. Don't know if I'm actually gonna keep the story in because it's kind of like bad, but basically I got told off because we had to use scalpels to do this in a lesson, but my teacher wasn't in one day, so we had a cover teacher and I needed a scalpel, so I just went and got the whole box of scalpels out because other people needed them as well. And then because I got them out, I just didn't put them away, and people stayed after school, so I just assumed that they need them. And then apparently like 2 went missing, or 1 went missing or something, and my teacher had a massive go at me for leaving these scalpels out. She was like, someone could have died. I was like, oh my god, can you stop blaming me? How was I supposed to know that people would be stupid and not put them away? So this one was supposed to have way more on, but I was just too scared to ask for another scalpel because I just didn't want her to like be annoyed again, so I just had to leave it like that. And then, like I said, this one is my favourite just because of all the colours, and yeah, I think that was a really good idea. I also love this page. I kind of forgot about this. Yeah, I think I just kind of made this up myself, but I kind of had seen things similar to this on Pinterest. I just didn't reference that in my actual book, but I just this was actually quite easy to do, but I think it's actually really effective. It's quite simple, but I just got loads of different buildings and then tilted them and like stuck them together on Photoshop so that they just looked like they were all coming out of the middle, kind of, if that makes sense. And I just again used Photoshop, and I think I either used the magic wand tool, it must have been the magic wand tool, or like magic eraser or something, and then just got loads of different buildings and stuck them together in this kind of abstract collage, and then I merged the two together, and I love that picture as well. I definitely get that framed and put it in my house. But yeah, I also love that, and yeah, I thought the background was pretty cool to like use for that main image. Okay, and then we did a quick, I kind of don't like this project at all, but then we did a quick project just before we got our exam, just to kind of practice for the exam, because this was one of the old briefs that they'd done the year before. So it was called Out of Place, and the two, oh, I'd looked at 3 artists. So the first one I looked at was Tommy Ingberg, who just did these really cool ones. I actually love these pictures. I actually did quite like this just because it was quite fun, but I just don't think my outcomes were actually that good. So yeah, he did really cool things like someone having balloons for their head. And I just explained kind of why I like them. Don't know, if you want to pause again to read this, it probably will be quite boring, but if you want inspiration you can do that. And then I looked at Anja Stiegler. I never actually used these, but I just had to have like 2 other examples of Out of Place, and also Robert Rickoff, who did a bit more on like just in the streets and like architecture kind of things. I decided to focus on Tommy Ingberg just because his were my favourite, so I just did a little bit of a plan here. And what did I want to do? A person balancing on a much bigger hand, looking over like the edge of the hand, a person cowering away from a much larger foot about to step on them, and a person holding onto balloons that are like flying through the sky. Yeah, so it was quite fun to do, but I just don't think my outcomes were good at all. I did this photo shoot outside because my teacher told me that it would be good lighting, but it just kind of wasn't. I think it would have been better if I did it inside with actual studio lights. Basically just took some of like the close-up foot and then some of like the whole person in the positions that I needed them to be in, if that makes sense. Oh, also, if you didn't watch my last video, I always like annotated my contact sheets, which is a really good way to get extra marks because it just shows that you know what's successful and what's not. Okay, so this was my first set of edits, and I decided to, okay, yeah, I actually didn't take this picture of balloons. I think it would have been better if I did, because you were actually supposed to take everything yourself, I think. I'm not really sure, but I just literally got that off Google. This took me so long to edit because the string was so hard and I was just really bad at using Photoshop. I did one in black and white, but the balloons in colour, so there was just a bit of contrast as well, and then I just did one all in colour. I think it looks kind of cool. It just doesn't look that realistic, but these two worked. That one worked the best, and that one was definitely my favourite. That one was okay, but I definitely should have done it on the ground, not in the sky. I don't really know why I did that. And then I decided to incorporate a bit more of like nature into it. I think I just did this because I didn't really have that much else to add to it, but just looked at these 2 of his images where he used trees and like a massive rock. So I went around school and took some like gothic looking trees and some pebbles, and then I highlighted which ones I thought were most successful. Oh yeah, this is also in the wrong order. So these ones were the ones I actually used the like nature ones for. That one was her just balancing on some rocks, which looks really stupid. That one would have been good if you could actually see the tree, but you just kind of can't, because I tried to use her hand for the tree, but it just didn't really work. And then I went back to the other idea of doing balloons, but I basically just like laid everything up loads. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was just a bit more dramatic. So I had like 10 hands, not 10, 6 hands, and then just loads more balloons, and I actually think these worked a lot better because they were just a bit more like striking. And then I did on this one 4 hands and like loads of her like cowering away from it, so these ones actually worked a lot better. And I think, did I do anything else? Oh, I did. Oh, okay, this is like the most stupid photo shoot ever, but I don't know why I did this. I did this with Martha. I mean, it was fun, but I just don't really know what my intention was behind it. It was just a bit weird. I did an extra photo shoot with Martha, just doing like some weird positions and like with an umbrella, even though I didn't use them. I got her to like wear black and everything. Like this was going to be a serious photo shoot, but it just turned out so stupid. And then my teacher was like, oh, just put some random objects in. So I decided to use forks. Don't ask me why I did that. So these ones turned out like okay. They were kind of not supposed to be a joke. And then that, oh, I just can't even, why, I don't even know why I did that. How did I get a 9 for photography when I literally made her into a cutlery human? Like, she has a spoon for a head. That one's not too ridiculous, and then that one I kind of did as a joke, but my teacher was like, put it in anyway. This book was shorter than my other one because then after this we went on to my exam, which, like I said, I'll do a video on that in a few weeks. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a really weird page to end on, and I'm sorry that my last photo shoot was just stupid. I really hope this helped. If you did enjoy it, please give it a massive thumbs up, and also comment down below if you'd like to see my final exam book, and just if you want to ask me any questions for advice and stuff. And yeah, I will see you soon for a new video.